Hello and welcome to game 4 against W. Morrison. So here we have Marquis from Allies plus buy, and then you draw a bunch of cards. One card for every card in your hand, but you have to discard down to 10. Now Marquis is interesting here. There's big booming draw. You also have big draw in Scry Pool. And I like Scry Pool, so we'll build Scry Pool. There is no trashing here, or so you might think, but if you're skilled with the native village, you could clean up a little bit. We have some plus buy in the courtier and the marquis, so you build here. Fortune is there as well. We'll see how things go. So the marquis is interesting because it's a powerful draw card. It'll draw you +4 cards just on its own without doing anything, and that is to be taken into consideration here. It also gives you a plus buy, right? And there's cheap things like guardians and native villages that you would want to buy. You do need some actions to play these courtiers for coin and buy, for example. That's what I was thinking of anyway. So we will see. We open a little bit differently. We play through the middle a little bit differently, which is good. So I could take my time, analyze with you all what happened and what worked, what didn't work. So they opened with the fisherman. Obviously, they have a better opening than I do. I had the 4, so I had to buy the 4, which was either Devil's Workshop, as W. Morrison takes here, or the potion, which I take there. I understand the Devil's Workshop, it will gain you villages and vassals, and the potion itself, that's fine. I want one myself. Hopefully, I would gain imps with it, but I'll take the odd village or vassal near the beginning. So they get Fisherman and Workshop, Devil's Workshop. I have 3. I don't want to buy a silver. I get a native village instead. And I hadn't noticed the little squirrel in the corner, but W. Morrison points it out to me by playing squirrel here. So they opt to use their fisherman as a squirrel, and then they buy another fisherman. So now they have a huge hand. Not that big, okay, but it's bigger than usual. I have my Scry Pool as planned here. They get to 4 with the Devil's Workshop in hand. Obviously, they get their potion now. Devil's Workshop gains them a native village. Alright, so there I had the option to use my native village as a squirrel. I chose not to because I know the top cards of my deck are either copper or estate. So I could get it out of the deck, for now at least. So I chose to do that instead. I know Marquis is important. The plus buy is very important here, but I don't necessarily need Marquis for plus buy. Courtier is just as good. It's just that Marquis draws, and in the early game, that can be a huge advantage. You know, once his Scry Pools are not quite built up yet. 3 is going to be a vassal for me again. It's an action, and it has coin on it, so it'll help me get to expensive things like Courtier and Marquis. Alright, so W. Morrison makes another interesting play here. The native village comes out as a squirrel. My vassal finds my Scry Pool, which is lucky, and then even luckier than that, my Scry Pool finds my native village. Again, what does that mean? Vassal is here, Pool is here, Village is here, Potion is here. It's a bunch of garbage in the rest of the deck. Just set aside. Could be Squirrel, mind you. Again, I prefer the thinning instead of the extra 2 cards. My next turn and here, alright. The Squirrel paid off. The Squirrel, this is the second time now I believe, they get the plus buy, the Marquis. And they have a few native villages, so maybe they could draw native village Marquis on that turn. I would like the plus buy ASAP. So far it hasn't really come up yet. I get the workshop now. We wanted one anyway. Here, look at this. This is nice. Native village and then double squirrel. Still able to pick up a Scry Pool. Notice the Marquis has not come out yet. It's in the next hand. And remember, Marquis draws per card you have in your hand. So this is a good combination. The Marquis and the squirrel. I didn't pick up on it. I didn't even see the squirrel at the start of the game. But it seems like W. Morrison saw it and focused on that. a bit more than I did. Well, definitely more than I did. All right, so I squirreled that native village there because I don't know what I will set aside. Don't want to take the chance. And then I just buy a pool, pass it back. And now we see huge turn from them here. We know the marquee is in hand. Marquee comes out straight away. They do have to discard down to 10, but who cares? Your hand is 10 hand size right now. They could probably buy whatever they like. And check it out, native village, double fisherman, no double squirrel. So they get another fisherman and they get another scrying pool. And this turn looks real good for them. Real good. Because I'm sure that Marquis discarded a bunch of junk. So the native village set aside for them was safe. Notice they have now set aside 3 cards on their native village mat, none of which seems to be critical to the deck so far. So they are, effectively trashing as alongside me. Very good from them. And they get an imp as well. So that imp is huge. Extra draw in the deck. Once again, I'm getting outplayed with Scrying Pool, but not totally, uncontested Scrying Pool. Alright, so the pools come together here. Draw everything up. I don't care for the potion. I want to get up to Marquee. This is Marquee. I trigger the shuffle because I know it's tiny. Again, native village set aside there because I was deck tracking. I knew that I could afford to set aside there. I get to 6. I get to my Marquee. But at that point, do I really need Marquee? I don't. I think Courtier is better in that position. Look, I've set aside, 3 cards now on my mat. Pool is starting to do pool things. I really feel that Marquee was just me getting a little too excited by W. Morrison's Marquee here. And again, another native village with the Devil's Workshop. So they draw a lot of cards. Remember, they had double squirrel from last turn. Here comes the Marquee again. Seeing their whole deck. Scrying Pool, and this is going to be a Courtier, I imagine. Makes sense for it to be a Courtier. Keep increasing the plus buy and more imps. So more plus buy, more draw. They are ahead. Clearly ahead at this point. I have to hope and try to catch up on the plus buys. That's why I'm lacking, right? But this turn is not going to get me there. If I had gotten to 5, Courtier for sure. I would have skipped on the Scrying Pool. But we didn't get there, so we take our Scrying Pool and I take another native village, I believe. I chose, again, this native village as squirrel because I don't know what I'm setting aside, so just take the extra 2 cards. Alright, so another big turn for W. Morrison, again, aided by the squirrels. Squirrels have put in a lot of work, and in tandem with the Marquee for them. Look at that, they have the whole deck in their hand. They do have to discard half of it, but they get to keep the good half. I still think it's worthwhile, even if you have to discard half your hand, potentially more. And with Scrying Pool around, discarding half your hand could be no big deal. If you discard 10 actions, no big deal. I'll just pick all of them back up for you. No problem. Thank you very much, Scrying Pool. They go here for the native village, set aside. And they actually will get quite far through this shuffle. I thought this was a bad shuffle to trigger, but was I wrong? Native village set aside 1. Imp draws some. Scrying Pool is still there to draw some more. And they are left with nothing. They cleared the shuffle. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And they have the 3 buys now. So that is Easy Pool Village Courtier. Easy Pool Village Courtier. Alright, so we're still here. We're still doing some things. Set aside a Devil's Workshop. Not ideal, but you know what? That garbage card didn't get me any imps yet. So go on the bench. Go on the bench. I get another Courtier there trying to fight the gains. I'm still 1 behind. I think that's my first Courtier. They have 2 already, and they have the turn advantage. Marquee plus Squirrel. Very nice combination here. So they will see their whole deck, I think, from here until the end of the game, which is tremendous. Which is tremendous advantage. They are using all the draw cards on the board: Imp, Pool, Marquee, and Squirrel being rewarded for it handsomely. So here, 11 potion, probably another Pool and another Courtier at minimum. Yeah, so they take the Fisherman alongside it. That is totally fine. They are sizing up to be in a position to pile out the game here with just one pool left and 3 native villages. And they have more buys, so they have more control over the piles. Alright, so our deck is up and running here. I have quite a few things set aside on my native village. Matt, one more thing set aside now. 7 cards. See? Once you track your deck, you could clean up with native village. And the scrying pool helps, because if they top deck a bad card, you can instantly set it aside. I buy the last pool, buy some courtiers, trying to stay alive in the game. The one hope I have is that, well, they have all their starting cards in their deck, 7 coppers, 3 estates. Maybe they brick on a turn. I have thinned quite a bit, so I'm more reliable. So I'm waiting or hoping that there is a situation where they stall, and then I can take advantage of that and maybe win or maybe put myself in a good position. Anyways, let's enjoy this marquee. Drawing up to 24 cards in hand. You have to discard 12. Have you ever had, not discard 12, discard 14? Have you ever had to discard 14 cards from your hand before? I haven't had to do that. Never. Never. But the discard, like I say, is, I think that's safe with Scrying Pool around to go through that shuffle. And they have help from the imps as well to get through it. Look, they just draw everything back anyway. That is brilliant, really. And then the native village finesse at the end because it was a card they discarded from the Scrying Pool, effectively thinning. Alright, so here they size up for the end. They take all the native villages and they take up province as well, I believe. I guess that is the safe way to do it. I would have preferred to see more plus buy taken, more courtiers taken, but I think they could end the game next turn by emptying death cards effectively. Not emptying death cards, and buying enough death cards to empty the ruined village. So this is sort of my last turn. My only hope, like I said, is to hope that they stall and then I come back next turn and win the game. So I'm going to try to put myself in that position. Look at this marquee now, does absolutely nothing for me. A glorified plus buy. Really should have been a courtier instead of the marquee. I have to get it in play though because I want the plus buy. More coins on buy from the courtier. Vassal to finish. We have what, 10 potion. So I have to buy a province here. With the money, if I want to have a chance at piling out, and I get a fisherman. I don't really think that helps me to pile out. I have how many buys? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I don't have enough buys to pile out. Yeah, I don't know what kind of nonsense is it. But actually, I might have enough buys to pile out if they do absolutely nothing. I mean, they do have double squirrels. I still, maybe, who knows. On the fisherman, because the first one is cheap, right? And then I have all that money stored up in the native village, man. But alas, it is not to be. Imp into Scrying Pool fetches them a heap of cards, and then when I see the marquee is when I click X. So this was very well done from W. Morrison. I'm happy I have this recorded. I could go back and look at it. You all could see it as well, and learn from it, just like I did. I don't know what you learned. I think we learned what Marquee and Way of the Squirrel work well together, because the Way of the Squirrel helps you hit 6, and then Marquee says, "Thank you very much for giving me a big hand size. I will draw you many, many cards as reward." Alright, thank you for watching. Game 4, sorry, goes to W. Morrison. We are 2-2 each, and I will see you in the next one.